Perfect. 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 Perfect.
What the hell is Saw Sports or whatever that last call was talking about? What the hell is that?
Guys are from Free Love, man.
I got the little Michael Jackson one dread thing going on. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Look, welcome to Saw Sports. We got a lot to talk about today. Not necessarily a whole lot of time. I apologize for the slight delay. I was trying to get in. I was setting shit up for my phone and all kind of shit like that. If you're not familiar with Saw Sports is the best sports talk show in Houston. And if you don't know, now you know. Like I said, there was a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about going on in the league with the Texans and with this goddamn YouTube, because they definitely changed some shit up. So let's talk about it, man. First off, I'm your host, Honcho. If you don't know, I appreciate you being here. Make sure you're in the live chat, not the top chat if you are in the chat, because the live chat is where it's at. But we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and the nonsense that took place over the weekend, right? And we're going to get further off into the Texans versus the actual Ravens. I want to focus on just the two quarterbacks in this matchup today. Like I said, we might have about an hour today. And I appreciate all of you for being. Let's see what we got in the mix, and then let's get into it. Mike B, DeMarcus, Eastside, what's the motherfucking deal? INF Storm, Ruben, B Shell, JT, D Pritch, what's the motherfucking deal? Make sure you're following Texas Palace on Instagram. Otherwise, you're bullshitting yourself. Broderick in the building, what's the motherfucking deal? Wink in the building, ADI Music, Texan Boy, what's the motherfucking deal? Wise, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see, Master Race, what's the motherfucking deal? Danny, Roman, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see, You Betcha, what's the motherfucking deal? Trent Time, what's the motherfucking deal? H-Town Life of Chopper Slim, Rodney Lewis, let me see. Alan Harris, what's the motherfucking deal? Terrell G, 1118 Dub, CJ, Anthony Washington, what's the motherfucking deal? Jabari Mayo, Larry Martin, Average Guy, Dewey Harris, Mr. New Money, Miguel, what's the motherfucking deal? Footballer. All right, lady, man, if I miss you, I ain't dishing. We got a lot to get into. Like I say, not a whole lot of time to get it all knocked out. So, what I want to get into today and what I want to talk about is this matchup. And you say, well, what is the nonsense that you're talking about? What is it that you're saying that it took place over the weekend? The Texans were on bye week. How did anything take place over the weekend? Well, prior to this weekend, before this matchup, and we can talk about it before, maybe last week, the rumbling started. But your MVP race was pretty much Watson, Wilson, some people saying McCaffrey, some people throwing Jimmy G, some other vague names, and I don't think we're really in that conversation. But we play in this league, this what have you done for me lately league. And Deshaun Watson takes a week off, and they act like they fucking forgot, right? They act like they just don't remember who the man is. They fail to put the respect on his name. And all of a sudden now, Watson's not in the conversation. It's just Wilson and Lamar Jackson because these guys have played recently, right? And that's crazy because one already, and I blame this on the Texans organization because their player promotion for some reason is questionable, and I'm not talking about just in the city of Houston. Yeah, get your little HEB commercial, sell some steaks and, talk to a little weird dude, whatever, all that good shit. But I'm talking about on a nationwide scale. This is why this organization doesn't get attention. It doesn't get, a lot of love. One, you got to win big games. Two, it's about promotion. It's not just the local area. I'm sure they're eating good just here in Houston. But on a nationwide scale, you don't really have great brand recognition, I guess you could say. But anyway, now, like I said, Lamar Jackson has a mediocre game, right? It's an average game. It's not that great of a game. I think he had like 65 yards. Yeah, he had 4 touchdowns, but I think he might have threw for 255. And all of a sudden, oh, he's in the MVP cover. Watson has had several games better than this year. My thing is, I'm not hating on Lamar Jackson in the sense that I wanted to see him shine. I felt like he should have been a first-round guy. I felt like he would get into the league and be all right. Okay? But if we're talking about quarterbacking, it's not even fucking close. It's not close at all. Lamar Jackson has a ways to go. Who was it? Steve Young the other day. Somebody shared the clip. I think it was Houston Sports Talk Daddy and Son. I might have messed your name up. But basically, Steve Young saying Lamar Jackson needs to be like Deshaun Watson. And that is true. Deshaun Watson is a complete quarterback. Lamar Jackson is, and I hate to use this term because we know how these terms get. Like, Lamar Jackson, an athlete. He's really an athlete. Like, he is the definition of athlete. He's not a great passer. He's not really that great of a passer. Think about that Kansas City game where you saw him chunk up 2 ugly fucking passes. And they were the 2 luckiest passes I've ever seen get caught in my life. And people act like that was not accuracy. That was pure luck. And I'm not hating on him. I want to see him win. I want to see him successful because the better he plays, when we have these matchups versus the Ravens and the Texans, whenever Deshaun Watson goes head-to-head, it makes it that much more exciting. So I'm not mad at that. But for people to think that this is remotely close in the terms of overall quarterbacking skills, you're bullshitting yourself. Lamar Jackson is exciting to watch. The little, 46-yard run that Deshaun did, 2 years ago in his first game ever. Oh, it's great. It's against the worst fucking team in the league. All of a sudden, now you're in the MVP conversation. Lamar has had the benefit of playing a lot of the worst teams in the league. They got the Dolphins early. They got a couple other teams early that were doing really bad. So my thing is just like, let's stop the fucking nonsense when it comes to this conversation. But for some reason, y'all know how the national media does the city of Houston. This shouldn't even be new to y'all. This is one of the first things when the sauce first started that we talked about. Man, Master Race, appreciate that love. Yes, hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to this. Man, and like I said, we're going to talk about some because there's a lot of stuff that's been going on with YouTube. Like, if you're not a YouTuber, you may or may not have noticed it. But a lot of things changing the terms of service and the way stuff is going to go. And that could have an impact on some things happening within this new year. So, and I'm encouraging you guys, subscribe to the Patreon. Patreon.com/SauceSports. I know a lot of you have, and I appreciate that. And like I said, support through Super Chat, support through Streamlabs. Streamlabs is preferred, but any support is appreciated because the way they're changing with ads and stuff like that, SauceSports don't make a whole bunch anyway as it is, but a lot of things are going to be changing as far as how it goes with the ad revenue because of some shit with a toy review channel and how that's impacting the rest of YouTube. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. We might talk about that more in the Den later on. And if you're not subscribed to the Den, subscribe to the Den also. That'll be greatly appreciated. But anyway, getting back to this. This is a crock of bullshit that this has happened, that Lamar Jackson has jumped Deshaun Watson in this conversation. Because anybody who's watching anything knows that come on, it's not a comparison, man. Like it's not even close, man. Mahomes, my homeboy. I think that injury did a little something to him. He looked a little rusty. He looked a little rusty. That last game, it is what it is. But we'll see how that goes. Oh man, we're not going to talk about Clowney, because what is it? Only 3 sacks, a couple of touchdowns, interceptions, a few fumble recoveries, a few forced fumbles. I told some folks at the beginning of the year that a certain player would have a better season than another player. And y'all can talk about, well, what has he done over there? He wasn't worth this money. He wasn't worth that. That's fine. It is what it is. That's over and done with. But one player is still able to contribute to their team. Another situation, well, we'll have to wait and see. So I just kind of want to look at the statistics real quick. Then what we'll do is we'll talk about maybe 10 more minutes or so about a couple of things. We'll try to open up the line, try to get a couple of calls in and see what we can get shaken. Let's talk about it. You have Lamar Jackson, right? Has thrown 50 less passes in the same amount of games as Deshaun Watson. is averaging 5%, 5% less completion rating. Okay, so that should tell you something there. Because usually if you have lower attempts, you would expect your completion rating to be a little bit higher, right? Because you've had, the what's the word I want to say? The value of each reception would be a little bit higher. The more you have, then, you would think maybe a little bit less. He's throwing for 2,000 yards, 2,036 yards. Deshaun Watson has given you a completion rate of 70.2, 2,400, 2432. So about 400 more yards in those same amount of games. Lamar Jackson's passed for 15, throwing 5 interceptions. So for every 3 touchdowns, you get an interception. Deshaun Watson's giving you 18 and 5. We can talk about couple of those, and I'm sure it's the same case on Lamar Jackson. A couple of those I wouldn't necessarily put on Watson, but it is what it is. Now, my issue here is, again, like I say, people get excited about the running and the rushing and all that other stuff, right? That's lovely. Well, Deshaun's giving you 5 of those too. Lamar giving you 6, one more. But he runs a hell of a lot more than Deshaun Watson does, okay? You got 52 rushing attempts from Deshaun Watson. And to me, this would say Deshaun is a better rusher, right? You have 52 rushing attempts by Deshaun Watson, and he's giving you 5 touchdowns. You have 106, more than twice as many rushing attempts. Some running backs, they don't have 100 attempts in the league this year, right? And he's giving you only 1 more touchdown, right? Now, some of those have been nice runs, and they've been pretty-looking runs, and it's fancy, the spin moves and all that stuff. That's cool, and it's nice, right? But come on, it's not even close. It's not even close. Again, now, that's where the issue is going to come, right? You say, is this without his legs, Lamar can be... Oh, no. No. Without his legs, it's not even close. Without his legs... And I hate to say it. It's nice. I mean, I don't know what you get out of Lamar. But again, they got this guy running a glorified Wildcat triple option, whatever you want to call it. I don't care if it's triple option, stock option, whatever you want to fucking call the shit. The fact that, because again, if he was the quarterback that you want, you don't have to create this whole specific playbook. You don't have to create a new offense for him to be able to execute. But I respect the fact that he is talented. He is a unique, special talent that you find a way to put him on the field. You have to find a way to put him on the field, right? And that's cool. But my thing is this. Is this going to sustain? And I'm not wishing injury. I'm not wishing anything on anybody. But Lamar's a slight guy. It's going to take one hit. We saw what happened with Deshaun a couple of years ago. And I think he's bounced back. I think he's still just as effective. But it's only going to take one hit, and it puts you in a situation. Then you become cautious about the legs, right? And you're hesitant to run like that. And then your arm gets exposed because you don't want to make those plays, right? You're going to be questioning, does he want to run? And then that's when you're going to see if he has to rely on his arm, what does he give you? Now, again, I'm not wishing injury on him. I don't want to see him hurt. I don't want, again, like I said, you want to see the best of the best. You want to see people play the best. And that's why I'm excited about this. Everybody's throwing the Ravens in the number 1 team conversation, or they're the team to beat. Respect it. They put the L on the Patriots. They did what they had to do. This is the Texans' chance, and I've been telling y'all this because a lot of people, such injury, we should win. I hate those injury games because then to me that's an excuse. That's another outlet to say, well, they won, but such and such wasn't there, so and so wasn't there. They've had a lot of these games this year, right? So my thing is this, right? My thing is this. This is a chance for the Houston Texans. This is the statement game, in my opinion, for the Houston Texans. Yes, you can say, the Chiefs was a statement game. Yeah, it was a statement game. But the Chiefs win doesn't look as good now because the Titans went in there and beat the Chiefs, right? Or they beat the Chiefs. They didn't go in there and beat the Chiefs. You can talk about Patrick Mahomes all you want. He still put up numbers and all these other things. But the Chiefs don't look as good. They don't look as exciting, right? That win doesn't seem as quality now because it ain't the Chiefs that you had last year, Yeah, we've been saying that. We were saying that last week. The next 3 games were huge because you got the Ravens, you got the Colts, and then you got the Pats. But this is the start of that because if you don't jump out and win this game, then you got a lot of questions, right? Because right now this is the premier team in the league. I've told you, Bill O'Brien in my book has a lot to prove when it comes to the upper echelon teams. If you want to get put in the conversation of the best team in the league, if you want to be put in that conversation of the better teams in the league, this one has to be a win, and I'm not even really entertaining a close loss. If you let these guys come out and handle you, you might as well call it a wrap, right? Because then there's a lot more questions. But here's the deal. There are no excuses for the Texans. And like I said, I don't want to get fully into the team versus team. This is more Watson versus Lamar. So there's no excuse for Bill O'Brien. There's no excuse for Romeo Crennel. But Romeo Crennel is a bigger impact in this game simply because he has the challenge of stopping Lamar Jackson. Now, it hasn't quite been done yet in that sense. I heard Fuller may or may not be out. I heard he might be out, but we'll see. But again, that's a whole other conversation too. But it's going to be more on Romeo Crennel to stop Lamar from being able to do the things that he does, and that's going to be an interesting feat. But you've had 2 weeks to focus on a team. That's a blessing, especially when you're playing what people are considering the #1 team in the league right now, considering the best team in the league. You have no excuses. You've had plenty of time to watch film. You had plenty of time to come up with a game plan. You can't look past this game and say, well, we just got to win our division. I'm not going to get that because I feel like Bill will use that as a legit, this is a divisional game, so this is more important. Because, you got the Colts shortly, I think, on a short week right after that. So this game matters a whole lot because this is what sets the pace. You beat this Baltimore team, you should really have no trouble in Indy. But we'll see what happens with that because we shouldn't have had trouble with them last time, but it is what it is. But just when it comes down to the argument of better quarterbacking, it's not close. Lamar is not in the same realm of quarterback as Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has done this consistently. Has put up quality numbers, running an offense he's comfortable with, having to play out of his element even when he was not as fully healthy, even when injured and all these things. He's been much more consistent. Lamar Jackson has flashed on the scene this year. Again, a lot of gimmicky stuff, a lot of interesting things, but again, you cannot deny his talent. He is an athlete. Okay? And again, I know a lot of people, they use that term to label black quarterbacks a certain way. This is true. When it comes to Lamar Jackson, this is true. He's not a great passer. He's not close in the passing department. He's an average to so-so passer. And again, because if not, you'd see those passing numbers be up a little higher. They rely on that a little bit more. And again, you've seen some of them when it comes down to when it's clutch. He's throwing up prayers, and his receivers are making things happen. And I wouldn't say that his receivers are on par with what the Texans have, of course, but it is what it is. But again, this is going to be a hell of a matchup to see. This is going to be a very intriguing matchup to see. And I can't wait for it to happen because I do feel like Deshaun Watson is going to go in there and set the tone. I'm not relying, and I'm not going to dismiss, I'm not going to sit here and say, Bill O'Brien doesn't have a game plan. I'm not hating on Bill. I haven't really hated on Bill at all this year. I just said that this is a year that he has to prove it. I haven't had a lot of negatives to say about him, but he just needs to prove it. But I think this one wins on the strength of Deshaun Watson and his heroics. I have questions about Rack and his ability to stop Lamar because nobody's really stopped Lamar. And a lot of that just comes down to shit on the field that you cannot draw up. This comes down to shit on the field that you just can't anticipate. And you don't have anybody who can replicate his running style. There's nobody in the league who can replicate that. But you see Deshaun Gibson out there talking a big game. Going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But you have health. You have time to game plan. There are no excuses. You have no excuses. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. There's one more point I wanted to make, and I'm forgetting what the fuck it was what I wanted to say. I guess I should have wrote that shit down. Like I said, that's what happens when you're running in late and you're trying to get in and get it. Because I told you I was going to give y'all some sauce for the rest of the week. There's one more point I wanted to make. one more point I want to make. One more point I want to make. I can't remember. But anyway, so this is what we're going to do. In just a minute, I'm going to, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes actually, I'm going to open up the sauce line. We'll take some calls. We'll probably have the 5-minute rule on because, like I said, we'll not be able to go super long today. We'll get some things in and we'll get some calls, some thoughts, some opinions in, and then we'll go from there, man. Give me just a second. All right, cool. Son of a bitch. All right, cool. All right, man. So let's get into it. 173 deep, man. Let's get some likes. Hit that fucking like button, man. Y'all be acting like y'all stingy with the like button. I don't care if you don't like the shit. Hit the dislike button too, man. You know, make it worthwhile. Appreciate the love, Jonathan McKenzie, man. Shout out to this stick. I don't know what's going on with this. Is that a hip? I thought it was a snail at first. I'm fucking tripping. YouTube don't want to update my shit. Like I said, it's a lot of other stuff going on with YouTube. But again, make sure you subscribe to the Den too. And I really appreciate that. The dancing JJ. I don't know why. What the fuck? The fucking shit is not saving. So I don't know what's been going on with the tube today. I just have to leave it. Fuck it. Again, we 171 deep, 75 likes. Let's get to that Honcho, man. But, so again, looking at this thing, so here's a couple of questions I want to ask before we open up the line. I want to know your thoughts. You know, personally, do you feel like this is going to be a QB battle? Do you feel like the Texans have a chance in this? I know some people are automatically counting this as an L. I can't remember. I have to pull up my predictions. I want to say, I can't remember if I gave this as a win or L. Let me see. But you know, it's funny because the thing is about predictions are so funny. You can lean on them, or you can change your opinion because so much changes throughout the season. Like I say, this secondary is a different secondary. Now I am going to be livid, but it's going to happen. So I don't even know why I'm selling myself on that because we know that J. Joe's going to be out there starting. And as much as I appreciate what J. Joe has done in the past as a Texan, I'm going to throw a little early mark my motherfucking words out there. And Lamar Jackson going to put J. Joe in the blender before the game is over with. I counted this as a win. So, okay, that's interesting. I did count this as a win early in the season, and I had us we'd be at 5-5 now. Okay. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and open up the line. Let me get everything set up, and then let's take some calls. Like I said, we're going to have a 5-minute rule on whatever your thoughts are, whatever your opinions are, whatever your feelings are. Let's get them in. And for the record, fuck the Ravens. The Texans will win this game. I ain't even finna wait on no hesitation. I told y'all I was finna give y'all some of those. Man, fuck the Ravens. Fuck everything they talking about. Fuck Lamar Jackson this week. Because I'm tired. I'm really tired of the disrespect. And what I'm saying by that is, yes, I'm going to be critical. I've been critical of the Texans. The Roundtable's been critical of the Texans. We're going to be critical of the Texans. But that's like, you know, like, that's your partner. You know, you can talk about your partner. But if somebody else talk about your partner, you're not having that shit. And I'm tired. I feel like we're getting a lot of national disrespect. Again, you take a week off. They act like Deshaun Watson ain't been doing what he's been doing, like he hasn't been doing this his entire career. And again, so this is a chance for not only Deshaun Watson, but the Texans as a team to make a fucking statement. I told you there would be 3 or 4 games. I think I said there would be statement games. I said both Colts games, the Ravens, the Patriots, and the Chiefs game. So it's 5 games that I said that. So the Chiefs game got handled. The Colts game you lost. You got 3 more games. You got another Colts game, the Patriots, and the Ravens, all in the 3-week span. This is where the Texans prove that they're legit. You win all 3 of these, and if they're not talking about you in the national conversation, then it's just really some pure hate. And then it's a money-motivated situation. And I'm going to tell you why I say it's a money-motivated situation. Because think about it. Even when LA teams are trash, they get a lot of press because a lot of fan bases from New York, LA, California, whatever, they watch a lot of these shows. The Houston market in as far as sports isn't as large compared to these others. So if we talk about Houston all the time, other viewers become disinterested, and they don't get the ratings that they want, and that's part of the thing. You know, there's politics behind it. So in reality, when they should be talking about things, the great things that are happening, they purposely skip over a lot of it because, again, they want to appease certain viewers, they want to appease certain fans, they want to appease certain fan bases. And I've told y'all time and time again, the Texans fan base is not very large. No matter what you may think, no matter how you may feel, everybody in Houston is not a Texans fan. This is a city where you have to divide that Texans fandom with other bandwagoners. You have to divide it with fake Patriots fans. You have to compete with Cowboys fans. You have to compete with so many other things. And so when it comes to big media, the Texans are not a profitable conversation. Yeah, you're going to talk about it because you kind of have to if you're covering the NFL. But as a whole, they're not making you money. And it is what it is. Let's get some calls in. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling into the sauce line this evening?
Ricky motherfucking D.
Ricky D, what's on your mind, man? How you feeling about this matchup between Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson tonight, man?
Yo, okay, so I'm going to read you something that I DM'd you on your Instagram because I had a feeling that I wasn't going to be able to call in.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this.
It's too much sauce.
I think, first of all, about the game, real quickly, is that I think it's going to come down to the fact that we got the tight ends to beat that team, that we got the tight ends to bust the seams of that defense. If you go back and you look at the losses that the Ravens have, you can see that Njoku had a pretty decent game, I think, and then and Kelsey also had a very good game against them as well too. But and I think that Deshaun Watson's quarterback intelligence to be able to throw the ball to the luxury that we have at tight end right now, especially with possibly Jordan Thomas coming back to assist with that. I just feel like that's where we're gonna beat them. But let me go to read what I texted you because I think this has everything to do with what you guys were talking about. I ran across your program on YouTube week 5 of the 2018 season, and my first impression was that I'm glad to hear other Houston sports fans vent and talk shit the way I like to when it comes to Houston sports. And being a Houston sports fan in Austin, I was amazed to know that Houston residents also felt they weren't getting the coverage I thought we deserved. However, with Sauce Sports, I not only got the coverage, but coverage the way I wanted it, raw and uncut. And to know the sauce was existent for that one reason was what stood out to me the most. Some who call in may disagree with Sauce, but their opinion is heard even so. However, I would like to point out that this week's coverage of Texans versus Ravens from national media is why I'm glad Sauce exists. According to national media, Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback that will be playing in that game. No mention of our quarterback and the fact he's 6-3 and his only road loss was in New Orleans. When talking about toughness, they don't speak about how our quarterback is the most hit quarterback in the league, how he throws touchdowns with one eye, how he played on the road with a busted lung once, and is among the league leaders in almost every passing category. They aren't even breaking down how our offense has been spreading the ball around more than just throwing it to D-Hop. And our defense has also created many turnovers over the last couple of games. I just want to say thanks to Sauce because I get the coverage I want, that which says both sides of the story, good and bad. And I hope Deshaun Watson is seeing and hearing exactly what I'm seeing and hearing, because I hope he's coming ready to beat the shit out of the mosquito-looking motherfucker named Lamar Action Jackson.
It's too much sauce.
And that's Ricky D, and I'm out, and I'll let you talk about it.
Already, Ricky D. Appreciate that love, man. That man, he
Used to know my bag.
He ain't lying, man. Shout out to Dirt South Scout, man. Appreciate the love. And shout out to Marquise Newman, man. Appreciate the love. But Ricky D's not lying, man. They don't talk about the They don't talk about the things Deshaun Watson does. And it's a shame because he is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling in to the den? I mean, not to the den. Goddamn, I'm on the wrong channel. Who we got calling in the Soft Sports? Goddamn.
It's your boy Roman, man.
Roman, what's the mother? Man, Roman, where you been at, man? What's on your mind, man?
Oh man, I've been doing some things, man. I just won for my school, man. I just got president for student council, man. So
Oh, congratulations, man.
They've been having, thank you, man. They've been having me do all this paperwork and shit with the help. So I've been busy, man. But I'm back. I'm ready to go, man. I got to do my 5 minutes. But getting to this topic, Honcho, I'm confident. I know we play Jacksonville, and I know Jacksonville's not a complete team. They got a mediocre offense. Their defense is solid, but it has holes, has cracks. But what I seen from the Texans team in London was something special. It was a team that I felt complete. They felt like they was balanced. They felt like they know what they was doing out there. Nobody felt lost. You get what I mean? And I feel like having a week of rest and understanding, I think everybody understanding their job, and plus the fact that we're going to be probably 95 to 97% healthy, I think it's no excuse for us not to win this game. Deshaun Watson, I know he's going to keep up to an amazing level because he's doing so, and with Deshaun Watson, he's never going to get his love in the media. Deshaun Watson's going to have to just keep proving himself. He's always going to get love from Houston, but the national media never going to get no love because, number one, he plays in Houston, Texas, which is a market they don't care about. So he's never going to get that love, but, hey, we know how good they are. And the national media know, too, but they never going to get that love. But he's going to prove himself out there. I think getting Gibson back, I think getting Roby back, that's going to complete that defense even more because keep implementing what we've done with them. If Fuller comes back and we can implement him with it feels like how we've been doing, that's going to be a powerhouse because when that offense is healthy, it's damn near unstoppable. Because you got speed and you got speed, you got size with the tight ends, and then you just got the best motherfucking wide receiver in the game, in DeAndre Hopkins. It's unstoppable. So I'm looking at this game. I'm not saying. In a way, I'm gonna say it. Fuck it. I'm confident. I'm confident in this game. I'm not downplaying Baltimore as a bad team because they're a good team. But you know what? They played the Patriots.
Got Houston on my back.
Their offense is not good. And their defense is overrated. Now they're the Patriots. You never doubt them. But let's be honest. They had an easy schedule. So looking at this, Honcho, I think it's going to be a competitive game. I'm not expecting us no blowout, no nothing like that. I think these two quarterbacks will go back-to-back. I like Lamar Jackson. I remember watching him at Louisville. But I think it's going to be a competitive game. But I think we got this one, Honcho. And I do think we're going to beat the Colts. I think the Texans are starting to hit their stride. I'm hoping it's not false hope, because I'll eat the crow. I said that the season was over. But looking at this team, I see some hope, and let's hope. I'm being positive right here, so let's hope that hope is true. But that's my call, man.
All right, appreciate the call there, Roman, and congratulations again, man, over the president, man.
Oh man, you welcome, man. I'm gonna be in the den at 10 tonight, man.
All right, bet that.
I mean, anytime.
All right. Man, only name on the injury report this week is Will Fuller being questionable, and that's a good sign because the last few weeks everything was dinged up. We know Watt out; it is what it is. But that's a good sign. And Will Fuller's your only issue. I'm more than confident in Kenny Stills. If Kiki's put back in rotation, he's had a week or two to have whatever discussions he's had that needed to have with Bill O'Brien. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. But let's get it. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling in to the sauce line this evening?
Hey, man, it's Solis.
Solis, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What's on your mind, Solis?
Nothing much, man. I think this is, one of the biggest tests in our season. So, to me, I think if we play man coverage on the corners, really, and we use the young corners, I think Kobe and Roby, I think that's what the names, right?
Yeah.
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 I just think if they, put them to the test on the receivers, we just might get that extra time for the front seven to get there, really. But Lamar Jackson's just a pure athlete, man. So yeah, I think he's gonna get at least maybe 3 big plays on us. I don't think they're gonna be touchdowns, but I can see him getting at least 3 20+ yard gashes.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna get. Look, here's the deal: on the ground, Lamar Jackson's gonna get his. It is what it is. Now, this Texans rushing defense has been All right. And again, like I say, better than anticipated. I have questions about, certain situations. I'm sticking by my story that I felt like it lost something. And again, you're looking at who you're going against. You're looking at the situation. We talk about injuries and everything else. But they'll be able to prove themselves this week because you got Ingram, who is no slouch in his own right. And, Lamar Jackson not the only weapon that you have to worry about in the running game. And then, they tried to pull out that little trickery last week. I don't know if y'all saw that with Ingram, RG3, and Lamar Jackson. But I think, Watson is on that other side. Again, don't sleep on him and what he brings on the ground game also because he can make things happen. And I also think that we know what kind of guy Watson is. And he's a quiet killer, if you know what I'm saying. I think he's still got a little bit of a vendetta about that Heisman issue, and I think he has a score that he wants to settle. He probably won't ever talk about it. But trust me, he knows that he got slighted on that shit for some old hype. And don't be surprised if you don't see Watson. Again, we've seen him do so many amazing things. Like we're almost not even impressed anymore. Same way with DeAndre Hopkins. But I think Watson's going to go in his bag this week, and I think you're going to see the best of Watson because he has something to prove. He likes to compete when the other quarterback on the other sideline is somewhat noteworthy. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens with that.
That's the thing, yeah. I mean, I really think the biggest thing or biggest play they could kill us with is the zone read. Because our guys will just, we'll bite on Ingram, but then, the back door open on, like we had with a few other quarterbacks in the past, go for a 20-yard, gain or maybe even a touchdown. But it's just, I don't think it's going to be the same thing as an 0-9 team they were facing last week because, that shit gets way overhyped when they blow out a team. Because we did that. We put 49 points up on Atlanta, and no one was, hyping up Deshaun Watson.
Exactly.
But they want to hype up this dude. I mean, yeah, he's good, but he doesn't really. He has to turn the plays.
Yeah. See, and the thing is, and I go back to talking about in the Houston sports as a whole on this, because what happened is the same way they hold James Harden last year out of MVP. You can have a better player. Kevin Lewis, Rowdy Hanson, and Ike Dirty, welcome to Saul Sports. Y'all the freshest motherfucking degrees. I forgot to shout y'all out. I appreciate that. But the same thing that happened with James Harden. You can have a better player, better statistically, more efficient, won more games, done all this other stuff, and they will give it to they'll overstep a guy from Houston for somebody who might be putting up a highlight reel. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that's what Giannis was last year. He just was putting up highlights because he was dunking a lot, but he wasn't efficient. He wasn't really that. I mean, I'm not gonna say he wasn't that good. You had to stop, but he wasn't putting up numbers. Harden put up historical numbers. They give it to him. Watson is putting up significantly better numbers than Lamar Jackson in the passing game. And even if you're talking about the ground game, it's only slightly different with way less rushes. I mean, he's putting up the same number of touchdowns because all the yards in the world don't matter if they're not equating into points. And so my thing is they'll overhype this, again, against a loss like that. But when you played Atlanta, nobody's saying, Deshaun Watson's MVP now because of that. And Atlanta's better than goddamn the Bengals. And so, I agree with you on that. That's the crazy shit. So, again, this is going to have to take him beating him head-to-head while everybody's watching. And for people to start putting that respect on Deshaun. Like, some people are watching, but it's going to take for the nation to see. The Texans have to go in and beat Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. I mean, besides this, I think if Watson does beat Patriots, that does solidify his MVP race. If he does go 2-0 these next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Or did they say, they face Indy first, so next, I guess 3-0.
Yeah.
That will solidify them. But I really got the score going 35-27 on top because I'm not worried about this team really.
Yeah. And at the same time, because like I said, I told you, we're going back old school sauce this week because I'm tired of all the disrespect and neglect. We talk about the Baltimore Ravens being a test, but shit, the Texans are a test for the fucking Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you having a field day against the Bengals. You can beat Miami and those guys like that. But when we're just as much of a challenge. We got a lot of weapons on this side of the ball, too. So your defense is going to have to stop us. You're going to have to stop Watson. Again, if I'm saying Watson is the better player, so they should be more fearful of Watson than we are of Lamar Jackson. And so, again.
This is the thing, too. Watson could run, too, but he doesn't run as, I guess, dominant or fast.
No, but he's not looking to run. Lamar is quick to pull the ball down and run. If he don't see his first option there, he's ready to run the ball. Deshaun Watson does not want to run the ball. He's always has his eyes. So when you think he's about to run, he finds a pass at last. That's why he's able to make those plays when he's appearing to get sacked. Still be able to make those throws. When you think that he's getting brought down, he's still able to make those throws because his eyes are always downfield. He's not looking to run the ball. If he sees a wide open, he's going, okay, well, fuck it, I'm going to take his free yards. But he's not looking to run the ball. He wants to throw the ball. That he wants to be a quarterback. He's not looking for all the rest of that shit. So that's the difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, most definitely. I think also who's going to have a big game is D-Hop. I think his game is going to. I think he's going to at least have 70 yards, 90 yards, maybe even 100. But I think it's about 70, 90 yards receiving this game.
Okay. Yeah. Hop have definitely. So I'm hoping Fuller shows, but with him being questionable already, I don't know. But even if he's not available, we still have enough weapons that we should be able to pose a legitimate threat. And
it's not like that, man. We only had one receiver last year. This year we actually do have a good 2-3 guys that can step up.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that that'll just be icing on the cake if Fuller is actually healthy. So, and I'll take it.
Well, that's another thing. Do you think we should trade him next season? Do you think we should trade him to get Cousins? The last 4 seasons he's been injury prone.
But here's my thing with Fuller, and this is why I say it's a conundrum with Fuller, because when Fuller is available, he is a weapon. He is a legitimate threat. But at the same time, there's so many seasons. There's so many chunks. You don't know at what chunk in the season is he not going to be available. Is it going to be 2 or 3 times a season that he's not available, or a stretch of 3 or 4 games that he's not available? And then I think when it comes in the long run, so teams are going to look at that and they're going to try to hold you. But when he is on the field, you kind of hope that if he is available, this makes us a completely different team. This opens up the offense. This makes Hop unguardable. It changes the whole dynamic. And so that's such a tough question with Will Fuller. Like, do you trade? Do you get rid of him and try to get something for him? But I think whatever you would try to get for him, you almost feel like you're getting hold because you know what he brings to the table. You know what he can do. And so, but when can he do it? That's the other problem. It's like, he's dinged up a lot. So I think it's kind of it's a tough question when it comes to Fuller at this situation. So that's just kind of what it is.
All right, man. That's all I had. I know you got the 5-minute rule.
All right, that's the best of these, man. I appreciate you calling in, man.
No problem.
Already. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling in to the sauce line this evening?
It's your boy Chill HD here.
Chill, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What's on your mind, Chill, man? How you feeling about this matchup between Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson?
Well, first off, before I start, I would personally want to apologize to you. I've been a little bit on a hiatus lately ever since the Astros lost the World Series against the Nationals, but I just like to say that I'm back right now and fully ready to, give my thoughts now that I'm spiritually healed.
Okay.
And
don't feel bad. I've been on a little bit of a halfway hiatus myself. Been a lot going on, so you ain't missed too much.
But well, I like to say this. I wish people would just wait a little bit. And it's like I wish people could start recognizing that the regular season is the regular season, the postseason is the postseason. And in my opinion, this is I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but I think this could be a future look at what an AFC playoff matchup could be. We could have the Ravens and the Texans go at it in the playoffs. Mm. And now Lamar Jackson is a good player. Mm. And I'll be one of the first people to say he's a good player. He's improved a lot ever since last year.
Yeah.
He can throw the ball, he can run the ball. But the thing is, we hype up all these great players, and then when they go up against, legit opponents, like Deshaun, they have faced legit opponents, but they face, 4 teams. Like, they face the Dolphins, they face the Steelers, they face some other pretty bad teams, and he lost against the Chiefs, and Deshaun Watson beat the Chiefs. Yeah. And that's also a really important thing to note. Mm-hmm. Is that Watson won the matchup against Mahomes while Jackson lost it. Mm-hmm. And Deshaun has a lot more experience under his belt. He's really grown a lot, if you think about it, when it comes to him being a football player. In his first 2 years, he was more of a, you could see that he still had the runner's mentality, but now this year he's really grown up from that in his 3rd year, and he's now thinking pass first rather than run first. Mm-hmm. And what's so great about him, and I wish people would start talking about this more, I wish the media would start acknowledging this a lot more, is that he has great escapability.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I got a question. I'm going to cut you off, but would you say that the addition of the Texans actually going out this year and improving that O-line change that? Because you know how bad the line was in his first 2 years. Did that cause him to have to run more? Did he have to think about running more as opposed to this year knowing that he can actually get comfortable in the pocket? Do you think that changed affected his game in any way?
Yeah, I've watching him ever since his first game, he's felt a lot more comfortable in the pocket, and I don't want our offensive line to I would want them to make sure that he doesn't get touched at all, but not everything's perfect. But Watson makes up for that, for the flaws that our offensive line is capable of. And man, I don't remember how many times he has been sacked ever since week 2. I know it's pretty damn low because the first 2 he was getting wrecked. He was getting sacked left and right. But ever since week 2, we realize now that he has been a lot more comfortable and he has not been getting sacked a lot. And that is really important because if we keep Deshaun upright and comfortable, he can do some pretty magical things.
I agree.
And when you have DeAndre Hopkins, and then you have DeAndre Hopkins, you have Kenny Stills, and Will Fuller's probably going to be back pretty soon. I'm really hoping he comes back this week, but I'm pretty sure there's a low chance of that happening. But when he comes back next week, it'll be good. But in my opinion, when it comes to the Ravens, this is also another big test for us. Can we go up against a team that's been boasted by the media for so long, and a guy that's been boasted by the media for so long, and then can we finally just shut up all the doubters, beat the damn Ravens, and then finally get talked about more? Like Deshaun deserves to be talked about more.
Yeah.
He is in the MVP conversation as we speak, but a lot of people don't acknowledge that he is in the conversation. So. To sum it all up, though, I have a hard time seeing if it's going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game. But I'm going to say that the Texans win 28-23.
Okay. So you think it's going to be a little bit more of a hard-fought battle and not as electric as we were expecting between these two quarterbacks?
I mean, that's just that's just what I feel can be right, but what I'm really hoping for, though, is what we had when Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson went at it in Watson's rookie year. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened when both of them are going at it with long killer plays and touchdowns all over. But no matter the score, though, I believe we can win. I believe we can win this week. And Deshaun Watson can finally start getting his name out there because he deserves it. He's worked his ass off these past 3 years, and he's getting there, but he's not getting right where we want him to be. And it's gonna be a great game, and I honestly really haven't. I mean, I really don't have anything bad to say about the Ravens. To be honest, I think they're a good football team. It's just.
Yeah,
I
agree they're a good football team, but fuck them this week. Fuck the goddamn Ravens. Any other week I like the Ravens.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I don't have a second team, but I've liked the Ravens, since Ray and all that, like way back day when they were that defense and all that. But right now, this week, when they're the opponent, so fuck them. Next week, they cool. If we see them in the playoffs, fuck them again. But right now, fuck the Ravens, fuck Lamar Jackson. We'll be all right. We cool next week, but right now, ain't no love.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was counting us out when we were going against the Chiefs, but fuck. Damn, we fucking beat them.
Yeah.
So if we can beat the Chiefs, I'm pretty damn sure we can beat the damn Ravens.
Yeah.
All right.
Too much sauce.
I'm gonna let other people get their calls in. You gonna be live tonight on the Den?
Oh, absolutely gonna be in the Den live in the Den at 10. So if you slide through, I'll be looking for you.
All right. Well, I'll be watching the Den tonight, and everyone else, before I go, be sure to subscribe to Soft Sports, subscribe to the Den. I'll see y'all later. This is your boy Chill. Peace out, Honcho.
Already, Chill. Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right, about that. Eastside Herald, man, appreciate the love, man. Yeah, Climb, man. Look, you know, hey, look, the man's lead to a new team, a new defense, and a whole new situation. And everybody, you know, he ain't immediately making an impact. He ain't doing all this. It takes a while to get acquiesced to where you got to be. And so, you know, it is what it is, man. So, again, Clowney doing what he got to do. He's been contributing. He damn near got as many, defensive touchdowns as the Texans do, but it is what it is. But y'all said he was trash. Y'all didn't want to pay him no money. We ain't going to talk about that anymore. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling into the sauce line this evening?
What's good, Honcho? What's Wink?
Wink, what's the motherfucking deal, man?
I ain't get to hear everybody else call, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just put it to you like this: this ain't finna be no easy ass win. They got a leg up in a couple of places on this, especially when it comes to the special teams unit, which I think is going to be extremely vital when it comes to this football game. We haven't played particularly well in Baltimore, you know, throughout our history. We've never won a game in Baltimore, even though we only have 2 wins against Baltimore in our history. That's going to end up being a tight game considering the fact of what Lamar can do. And people are acting like Lamar has to win this game with his legs, bro. He just won a game against Tom Brady with with over 2 touchdowns, only throwing less than 180 yards. It threw a touchdown, and this man has only been sacked 5 times this season. How are we going to get pressure on him?
That's what I say. That's why it's on Rack. Rack has to get creative. If he's not, then that's why I'm going to put more blame on Rack. Bill has to do what he has to do, of course, but I think the biggest factor in this game is what is Romeo Cornell going to do? He doesn't have a star player to rely on, so we're going to see what he's really working with.
I think Roby Johnson coming back to play along with Conley is going to be extremely beneficial for this football team. The only reason why I say the run game, we're going to be able to shut down Ingram. I'm not worried about him. Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews are going to be a problem. Third down is going to be critical. He converts a lot of third downs, so does Deshaun Watson. It's not like the man, we don't have nobody who's going to be able to chase him down. The most we can do is have 2 spies and have somebody patrolling the middle of the field, because you're going to need Zach Cunningham and Dylan Cole to spy on him throughout the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to need multiple spies. One spy is not going to get it done. You're going to have to bring corner and safety blitzes all game to get him off of his time, because this is going to have to be a game where you're going to have to get Lamar to throw the ball down the field. And the fact that you have Lonnie and Roby coming back, and if we're playing man coverage the way that we've been playing since Rack has made the adjustment since the Kansas City game, then I don't see how their receivers are really going to be able to get off on us. Taking in consideration the way, and Tayshaun Gibson should be coming back.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying?
Everybody healthy but Will.
Everybody coming back. So, I mean, the O-line has been playing well, but their O-line is better. They're going to be able to get some things done, but we are playing disciplined football, and, on the defensive line, especially now that you don't have a guy like J.J. Watt on the line who can very well jump in and out of his gaps and make it harder for other guys around him to eat. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that shit, but it is what it is. This shit going to come down to the kickers. As much as everybody want to sit around here and act like, it's going to be the secondary, which the secondary is a lot better, over the last couple of weeks. But I'm only willing to give the secondary a few games. Like, bro, the secondary has only played like 3 solid games throughout the entire season. And that's really been since they came from the Kansas City game on back.
But realistically, because you mentioned, Conley and Lonnie coming back. But realistically, are we going to see more J. Joe than any of the rest of these guys? Do you think that Cornell is really going to?
I hope not.
Do you think he's going to realize J. Joe is kind of a liability at this point, being probably maybe the smallest DB that we have, being the oldest DB that we have? At this point, might be the slowest DB that we have, corner that we have. So, I mean, do you see him, maybe this time you need to just kind of ride the pine a little bit. We'll use you if we need you, or do you see him starting? I mean, really, if you're looking at the rack size.
He's going to have to be an extra body. I feel like he'd be able to cover a tight end or somebody like that. I mean, if you want to use him in that manner, go ahead. If you want to use him on guys that aren't that slow, some guys that he does have better speed than, then go ahead and use them. You can find some kind of way to use them but they don't have enough receivers for us to run dime packages. So what would be his use? You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's really going to end up being a problem. Hollywood Brown, I really think, I can't even believe I'm saying it, but I can kind of say Roby will be able to handle Hollywood Brown, especially from the way that Hollywood Brown is going to get his in some way, shape, or form. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's not going to be able to get off in some kind of way, but is he going to be able to get off on us the way that Tyreek Hill did, playing with Mahomes? That I don't see. But stranger things have happened with this football team. But I think my main thing is going to be, bro, who is going to be the better kicker at the end of the day? Because if Deshaun Watson cannot be in a situation where we're relying on ckin Fairbairn in Baltimore, we cannot be in that situation, and we have to run the ball effectively, even if we're not able to get off, throughout the game. This is not a game that you can get away from running the ball. You have to run the ball regardless of what Baltimore is doing. They're not going to be able to run against us. So everything that they're saying that they're going to need to do to be successful, we can do a whole lot better if you want to be honest. And we've been way more consistent, and we play way better running backs than Baltimore has played. And if they don't believe that, they can go look at our resume and go see who we've stopped. But I'm not really worried about that. But the kicker, man, Justin Tucker can't be in no situation between no 50, 55 and, a 50 to a 60-yard. Like, this man going to have to be 62 yards on back for me to feel comfortable like he ain't finna hit the damn, it's going to have to be 70 yards for me to feel comfortable. Yeah, he automatic, man. And it's just like, okay, who's going to end up coming up with a game plan? And, they do have Marlon Humphrey. They do got Earl Thomas. Deshaun Watson's probably going to have to play probably one of the most disciplined games that he's played because this is the best safety we're going to end up playing all season. And Earl Thomas is going to be able to get these boys in the right position. They're going to have the right calls, but I believe he's going to find some way to maneuver.
Earl know about Deshaun, though. Earl already know what Deshaun brings today. He's seen him a couple of years back. He know what it is.
Oh, yeah, he know. He know, but they front is slow. But see, they front is slow and their linebackers are slow. That's an advantage that we're going to have to exploit all game. If we take care of we're going to have to exploit the middle of the field. We're going to have to exploit that. We're going to have to exploit ins and outs. We're going to have to do deep digs, crossing routes. We're going to have to do a lot of things in that nature, and we're going to have to do some misdirection when we can. They pretty much gonna know how to play misdirection, but their misdirection is totally different than ours. You know what I'm saying? It's in a different way, and it's not the same. So Tim Kelly, Deshaun Watson, Bill O'Brien gonna have to come up with a hellified game plan against Baltimore in Baltimore to pull this game out because the MVP race is gonna be decided on this football game. I don't even care about the MVP race. Just the fact that Deshaun Watson is being mentioned in the MVP race and people are even looking at him in that matter is enough for me. I don't need him to be the MVP. What I need him to do is win games, beat the teams that we need to beat, so we can get in the playoffs and prove these motherfuckers like Clarence and all these motherfuckers who had shit to say about our quarterback when we get to playoff time. Just know that shit was a fluke last year, and it was a lot of deciding factors as to why we lost that game. So this is the game right here. Deshaun Watson could very well come in here and win this game. Lamar Jackson could very well come in here and win this game. Don't think just because we've been stopping the run that we ain't gonna have some problems with Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Lamar Jackson don't have to run for 150 yards every game to win. He got a disciplined football team behind him with a disciplined coach who's won at a high level and beat all the teams that we can. Take that into consideration too.
Yeah, and like I say, but I think if you can take that away, it's going to be tough because, like I say, as you say, the secondary has improved. Jackson's only thrown for 3 games over 250 this year, 250 yards. One of those was Kansas City, and we know 2 of them passes in Kansas City were pure luck because you saw that he was just hoping and praying he threw some of those in there and those receivers made those catches. So, that is what it is.
Right.
Then you're talking about Arizona and Miami are the only other 2 games where he's put up over 250. So, again, Texas can take that run away from him. Then I think we're in a much better position. These guys have had 2 weeks. So there's really no excuses. I have no excuse for Bill O'Brien, Tim Kelly, or Snail. But you know, it is what it is, and that's what they have to do. I mean, we should come out of. I feel like
And it's going to be on the players. It's going to be on the players to execute. But yeah, back to what you were saying.
I feel like we should come out of this with a win. Because the same way you said, as much as we're saying, hey, you know, they got these weapons, we need to be concerned, and we can't let that media hype push them up, because again, we've seen that they had a good game in the last game against the Bengals. Yes, they went in there and they beat Brady and them. That's commendable. But you know, the last game against the Bengals, that's what everybody blowing it up. Don't let the hype train fool y'all, man. We're just as much of a threat as they are, and we bring just as much to the table as they do. And now we're actually healthy, because these last couple of weeks we have had an unhealthy team. We lost a lot of players. You got Tunsil coming back. You got a lot of things going on for the Texans. So I think it's going to be a bigger battle than a lot of people want to give it credit for.
And one last thing that I'm going to end up in, the point spread for this game, I want to say it's between 4.5 and 5. And Baltimore's favorite. We win those matchups. Have won them all season. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
And we played way better on. And matter of fact, we played better on the road and put more points up on the road than we have on any other team.
Yeah.
So I mean, we just hung up 26. We had 28 in the Saints game. We had 27 in the Chargers game. I mean, we put up 31 against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Even in a loss to the Colts, we still put up 24 points or something like that. I forgot what we put up. You know, so I mean, it's just one of those situations where we playing a hell of a lot better on the road than we're playing at home right now, and I think we're starting to turn that tide as well. But this game is going to come down to disciplined football. You cannot be in those situations where you are getting false starts, where you are getting dumbass defensive penalties throughout this game, because if this man stays on the field and if we are not playing the game to keep Lamar Jackson off of the field, this is going to be a long game. This has to be a simpler game plan so when we play Kansas City, and we can very well play that exact same type of game, and Carlos Hyde, Darren Fields, and these tight ends are going to have to be heavily relied upon if we want to go in Baltimore and get a convincing win.
I agree. And that's a BET, man. Anything else you want to add before we get ready to wrap it up, Wink?
Nah, man. Shout out to everybody. Trill, I just tried the chicken sandwich yesterday, man. That motherfucker was good as a bit. It wasn't spicy as they claimed it was gonna be, but yeah, that bitch was good though. I was planning on eating one tonight, but they said they were sold out. So shout out to the Popeye's chicken sandwich and the niggas who didn't get shot. You know, you get shot. You know, in the crossfire, you made it home and ate that whole in peace.
Get Jug trying to get that sandwich, man. But yeah, that's a BT. Really, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a shout later, man.
All right, that's a bad. We appreciate the call, man.
All right.
Yeah. All right, man. Like I said, we finna get ready after a while. Now, I know some more people want to get in, want to get some calls in and things like that. But I'm gonna have to wind up. Like I said, I got a short leash today. But imagine getting upset about somebody in the chat trying to troll you. That's funny, but keep it going. I like it. That makes me feel proud that I have that real estate in your mind. So keep on. Man, look, I tried to put y'all on Popeyes in the beginning of the year, man. In the beginning of the year, y'all ain't fuck with that Chick-fil-A. I'm trying to tell y'all, now y'all want to risk y'all life to get the chicken sandwich. Winky out there playing a dangerous game, man. But here's the deal. Let me see. I'm trying to go. Appreciate it, Christopher Hunter. You're the freshest motherfucking ingredient. Welcome to Salt Sports. You know what I'm saying? Man, come on, stop the nonsense. I was the first nigga y'all ever known to have that sandwich. I tried to put y'all on game in the Den Show. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the Den. We will be live in the Den at 10 p.m. Central tonight. And Rowdy at 7 p.m. Try to go every day, man. There's been a whole bunch of stuff going on, so I haven't been as consistent. I barely got in today. But 7 p.m. Central Time during the week, and then we go live an hour before the game. So we will be having a pregame show and a postgame show for the Ravens. And then, there's that. Let me see. Shaq Kush TV, what's the motherfucking deal, man? You can go to Den Show Live. It'll take you to the live stream page for the Den Show. And I think if you go to thedenshow.com, it'll actually take you to the channel page. So Here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. Like I said, we'll be live at the Den at 10 talking about something crazy. If you enjoy real conversations, we don't talk sports in the Den, but we talk about everything else, real life shit, the conversations they say you're not supposed to have. Make sure you come and subscribe to the Den. We're doing that live at 10. But if you can't handle toxicity, if you can't, look, I'm just telling y'all, beware if you go into the Den. You motherfucking me, you better be careful with yourself. Shout out to everybody else who joined in, who subscribed, man. Like I said, we go live every day. Try to go live every day. Try to drop some content every day. But, you know, it is what it is. But with that being said, man, hey, y'all are fresh motherfucking ingredients, man. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that share button. Oh, stop the nonsense. In every statistical category that matters as a quarterback, Lamar, your quarterback has more rushing yards than your starting running back. That tells you what Lamar Jackson is. Hate to break it to you. And I like Lamar. I like Lamar and what he is and what he brings to the table. It's a unique skill set. But we're talking about pure quarterbacking. It's not even close. Lamar's not on this level. He's still got a ways to go. Need to get them passing yards up. But with that being said, that's actually false. Only stat he's better than him is the rushing categories. That's it. That's the only thing in running the ball. That is all. He's got a whole. He's ran twice as many times. Has 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. Let's see. Watson has half as many rushing yards. Has 1 less touchdown. That's it. So. Try again. I appreciate you for trying. You know, you get an E for effort. But hey, all I'm saying is, who hadn't even played the Patriots? So the Ravens as a team beat the Patriots. Lamar Jackson, what was his numbers in that game? Nonsense. But anyway, got to slide out of here. I'll catch y'all in the Den at 10, man. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Hit that like button on your way out. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. I don't really give a shit. But with that being said, hey, man, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. I appreciate y'all. But most of all, y'all stay saucy, and I'm out.
Perfect.